How are you getting on, folks? Look at, I think it's safe to say the ground just got a little bit better than this. I was expecting some rain. I wasn't expecting all that rain. And evidently the ground just went to a complete slog. Although it wasn't, I suppose, the worst day overall. We still got two winners and a very comfortable nap winning. Um, it just, I suppose, look at when you, I suppose, come out with a loss at the end of the day. It's, I suppose, not really the way we sort of go into the day with. But hopefully you took on my advice. Hopefully you didn't go head over heels. If, I suppose, level stake, you'd be down, I suppose, small little bit, but not a hell of a lot. Down Royal tomorrow, there is some seriously great each way value. Tomorrow, I personally think there's ways and means of I suppose working around tomorrow's race and as to how to make, I suppose, hard opportunities to make profit into very tempting and very good ways to make profit. I will, I suppose, kick things off with an each way shout in the first race, the 12:40. We're staying away from the Gordon Elliott unbeaten horse, and we're going to take it on with the local horse here, Legacy Tour, for the Crawford team, if I'm not mistaken. Currently trading around 8-1 each way. Really and truly, this one here definitely looks to have a very good shout. In my personal opinion, the favourite in here would definitely want, seriously, I suppose, drying in the ground. It doesn't, I suppose, it doesn't look to be too hindered by, I suppose, softening or heavy ground, but for a price of, I think it's 4-7 or 4-9, I think you would be sort of better off staying a bit clear. Like, he only ended up winning his last race in February. I think it was in Naas that day by a neck in similar enough ground. Didn't really find a hell of a lot when asked to go, and it just, I suppose, just held on to keep his unbeaten streak. I don't think the second, I think it was a Joseph O'Brien horse that nearly nabbed him the next day. I don't think he amounted to anything really much. So for me, I think 4-7. Although, yeah, he looks the most likely winner, and Gordon Elliott does go pretty well in the track, as I suppose we'll get to later on. But for me, I think 4-7 is worth, I suppose, staying clear of. I think this Legacy Tour at 8-1, it's proven to love, I suppose, the soft to heavy ground. I think the softer the ground, the better it gets. If I'm not mistaken, it was a big prize second in Fairyhouse, or else it was a big prize second in Kilbeggan. I think it was one of these horses was second in similar ground at 100-1. I'm not 100% sure if it's this one or not. I haven't it written down, but I know it's either this one or I think the one in the 225 that was 100-1 in heavy ground when finishing second. So really and truly, that's definitely got plenty to like about it. Local trainer, as I said, they'll definitely want to have the horses ready to go, and I suppose better than what people would expect. I think if you're looking for an each way value horse here, definitely this Legacy Tour, when you look at the ratings alone, it's, I suppose, stand out second best. The fact that it does like the softening ground definitely puts a few more aces in our hands, and if, I suppose, a better chance of putting money in our pockets at the end of the day. In terms of winning, it certainly does need its luck. I definitely think this horse will be pretty hard to beat as a favourite, but in terms of 4-7, like I said, there is horses at better value, and I think Legacy Tour at 8-1 will certainly pay you back a little bit better than the favourite. 1:15, then we're going to go straight into another each way shout here. Now we're going to go with Politesse actually. For the Lorna Fowler team at 10 to 1. Personally speaking, this horse is a serious chance in a very, very good field. Coming up against Queensbrook, really and truly, yeah, the heavy ground does, I suppose, come in his favour. What I would be seriously worried about is the form of Elizabeth J coming into today in Clonmel. If Elizabeth J had have actually gone and won this particular race, the opener in Clonmel, I would be all over Queensbrook at this price. I think it's trading around 10 to 11 or something along them lines. It's definitely a shade of odds on anyway. Really and truly, you would have to be worried. I definitely think. It's hard to know really. I know it was very impressive the day it won in Gorham Park, but what exactly has it beaten? I looking through the form, I definitely think it's a bunch of, I suppose, donkeys in bad ground. With all due respect, um, yeah, this politesse. You look through the form book, and you look, I suppose, into the Thurles win, the two Thurles wins in soft to heavy ground. Definitely, the heavier the ground, the better. Like the first horse here, Lorna Fowler definitely loves to get a nice, I suppose, opportunity with her horses going in racing. I think she's found a very nice one here, and I think 10 to 1 is very much an insult to the horse's ability. You look at the form of its Thurles maiden hurdle winner, and you go down to the ninth horse that came home. I think it was, oh, it was something like 15 to 20 lengths at least, if not more, behind it. Streets of Diane. Look what that horse has gone on to achieve. It's achieved, I think, 4 or 5 wins on the bounce, albeit I think it was in good ground, but that horse was 125 to 1 that day. And you just look at how well that horse has come on and how well that horse has backed up form, and look at what it has beaten. Queensbrook, although the quality of the horse she is, with all due respect, she hasn't beaten a hell of a lot. I think odds on, I think 10 to 11, I'm not 100% sure, compared to 10 to 1 for Politesse is chalk and cheese value. I think sticking each way on it, I think it's trading around a quarter of the odds. You're getting, I suppose, as good as a 9 to 4 winner if it even places. Never mind wins if it places. 10 to 1 looks to be the best value, in my personal opinion, anyway. Moving on into the 150. This is going to be part of the nap. It's going to be a nap double, let's just say. But Abacadabra at 4 to 7, really and truly, it's not great value for a single bet, but we can, I suppose, turn it around and, I suppose, improve its value by adding in, I suppose, a filler in to a double or a treble or whatever we're going to do with it. I think, personally speaking, 4 to 7 is, I suppose, a right enough price for it. I think when you look at the likes of Aspire Tower, Jason the Militant, they have serious, I suppose, improvement to find with this Abacadabra. Abacadabra is going on for champion hurdle and it's aimed at the champion hurdle. None of this field is even going to graze the grass of the champion hurdle, the hurdle, I suppose, track. So when you look at it all in perspective, it's going to enjoy the ground. It's going to more than likely be well fit coming from the Gordon Elliott stable. Jack Kennedy on board. Really and truly, there's not much going wrong for this horse. I think 4 to 7, although it isn't great value, it's definitely well worth sticking in for a double or a treble or whatever you're going to do. Stick it in for a filler for an accumulator. Whatever you want to do with it, it's as good as a sure thing, bar it falls. Moving on then to the 225, another each way shout here now with a getaway out of that at 12 to 1. I think they're paying 4 places for this one here. Again, another horse that loves it in good, or it loves the ground that it's going to be running in tomorrow. Like I said, for the first race, I'm not 100% sure whether it was the Leopardstown second at 11 to 1, or the Kilbeggan second at 100 to 1 in soft to heavy ground. Either way, you have to, I suppose, consider this horse for an each way value. I think 12 to 1 is a great price. There's not an awful lot of these in here that I suppose you could class as well weighted or will improve with the ground that's it's going to be running in tomorrow. It's going to be an absolute dog battle. It's going to be an absolute bog, and it's going to be very, very much an ugly looking race when you're, I suppose, looking for a clear cut winner. But I get away with that. I think it was fourth around Down Royal in similar conditions. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was only 6 or 7 lengths behind that day, but that form has definitely gone on to be boosted. I think 12 to 1 is great value. I would have to say it's coming from the Sheehy team, if I'm not mistaken. Danny Hand, I think, has taken £7 off. Really and truly, you have to argue that this horse is coming well weighted in. I think it's had a couple of runs already. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have anything in front of me. All I have, as you can see, is just the names of, I suppose, the horses and the prices up. I honestly think that this horse will be well capable of running in for third or fourth or second, possibly even go on to win. Who knows? But yeah, I think when you're looking for value each way, I definitely think 12 to 1 is great each way value. Moving on then to the 3 o'clock, the main race of the day, Envoy going on for, I suppose, going on to the bigger and better things, going chasing. More than likely, he's going to absolutely hose up at a price of 1 to 12. You would expect that. I would, I suppose, suggest a no bet race for this one, but I suppose I'm here to try and find you all the best value. Currently, the forecast market is up. I've had a look at the forecast possibilities. Really and truly, when you look at it all together, there's about 3 or 4 horses that you could say are battling in for second. The likes of January Jets will have fairly decent ground, I suppose, to it's going to like the ground, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But I don't think it's going to like the style of racing. I think, really and truly, he will want to, I suppose, have a clear run at, I suppose, taking the lead and going on to, I suppose, stretch 3, 4, 5 lengths out of the field on the run in. He's definitely not going to get that. For me, personally speaking, I think this other second string for Gordon Elliott, Moratorium, is coming back from a break. It's trading around 14 to 1 at the minute. But, like I said, Gordon Elliott loves it around here. It will, I suppose, like the way the race is going to be run. I think it's going to be, I suppose, the pacemaker for Envoy. I think Envoy is just going to sit off him and just, I suppose, keep, I suppose, sleeping until the, I suppose, race gets hot, and I suppose strike while the iron is hot, let's just say. It's hard, I suppose, to try and pick out a second. Obviously, look at it doesn't take a genius to say Envoy is going to win this race. Bar a fall, there's no horse even going to lay it love with him. But the fact that this horse is a course winner and a distance winner in similar ground, I think that's going to stand to him. I think he has gone well, fairly fresh before. His record in ground conditions like this has been fairly decent. He's put up some very good races against some very good opposition. Ran on for ratings, I think, up to 131. That should see him clear second best. I think the first second here is going to be Gordon Elliott 1-2. And if you do jump on board that particular market, it pays 4-1. Really and truly, you're paying for a 4-1 winner for Envoy and hoping that Monatorium will come in for second. But I've done my research. I'm fairly confident that he is going to come in second. Hopefully, I don't be made look an idiot and he tails off last. But yeah, these sorts of races you normally see a Gordon Elliott 1-2 and 4-1 for those two coming in first and second. I think it's massive value. Moving on then to the 335, the next best of the day, Bridge Native for the Dot Love team. This one here, look at, it's as solid as a rock. At the minute, it's at an each way price. I would suggest backing it each way, but it's clear as day that if you're backing it each way, you're almost certain to be home and hosed with a winning bet. Really and truly, you're going to be getting back more than what you put in, bar, I suppose, a fall, but generally you can be fairly certain that Bridge Native won't fall, is generally a sound jumper, will absolutely love the ground. It's either Conor Orr or Simon Torrens taking the ride. If I'm not mistaken, I'm nearly certain it's Conor Orr. Takes £5 off, will, I suppose, aid that fact that has coming up against Showtime, who just, I suppose, nabbed them on the line in Galway. I think Showtime is just a little bit, I suppose, caught under the grasp of a handicapper now at this stage. I think you could be looking for better each way value here, and I definitely think an each way market of 5-1 for Bridge Native here is as solid as a rock. I don't think you're going to get much better than that. And finally then, the last race of the day, the final part of the Nap double, we are going to go with On Eagle's Wings at 11-8. This one here is seriously great value. All you have to do is look at the form, I suppose, that's coming up against. It's beaten bumper winners already. More importantly, it beat the runaway winner in Listowel. That bumper in Listowel cost a lot more. Maller's Dollar, very decent bumper horse. Looks to be a nice, I suppose, prospect for hurdles and chasing down the line. On Eagle's Wings is definitely a lovely pacey sword. Loves the ground conditions is going to be meeting tomorrow. The favourite here for the Gordon Elliott team, it's definitely an exciting sword, but for a price of 4-5, you're definitely risking a lot more than what you'd be getting in reward. At least with On Eagle's Wings, you know he's going to absolutely love the ground. He's going to absolutely love a good brisk pace being set, and I think he's going to hassle this favourite here. The fact that the favourite won on good ground would be a massive worry for me. In the sales, he only cost, I think, 38,000 compared to, I think it's 80,000 this On Eagle's Wings cost in equally the sales. So that's obviously a massive, I suppose, pointer in the right direction in my opinion. Normally the more, I suppose, money that's forked out for a particular horse, the better it is. But at least we know what On Eagle's Wings is capable of here. Coming from the Hyde team, father and son combination, I always love to see it. Hopefully, with the help of God, I think it's Tommy Hyde. I'm not 100% sure, but it's T Hyde. I'm not 100% sure. I'm nearly certain it's Tommy Hyde. I definitely think with the £7 claimer he's going to have, it should be able to run a very, very decent race. Sets a clear standard. Obviously, look at the improvement for the Gordon Elliott horse is going to come, but I don't think it's going to enjoy the ground whatsoever tomorrow. And therefore, On Eagle's Wings at 11-8 is seriously great value. But that's all the racing I have for Down Royal tomorrow. Obviously, look, it looks to be a very, very good day. Like I said, plenty of each way value here. Hopefully, we'll be able to turn, I suppose, the slightly disappointing form from Clonmel we had there today into plenty of, I suppose, nice each way value. I wouldn't be necessarily looking for too many winners. If they can get into places at all, we'll be fairly happy with that, especially at the prices that they are. Please make sure to keep liking, sharing, and subscribing. Every subscriber that comes onto the channel helps me out a big it's a big advantage for me at the end of the day. Tell your family, friends, everyone that you know that will enjoy, I suppose, listen to me talk about racing for 15 to 20 minutes in or around that. I'm going to leave it off there now. Best of luck tomorrow. I'll be back again tomorrow evening sometime to, I suppose, cover the big racing on the day for Downroyal, and potentially we might have a look at a couple of races in England as well. But I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much. Please make sure to like, share and subscribe. And best of luck if you're going to be having a bet tomorrow.